Let's hope this works. Let's hope this works. I better hope this actually works. 'Cause I'm doing a new thing, doing a new thing, doing a new thing. Let's hope everything works. How is everybody's day? How is everybody doing? How is everybody doing? How is everybody doing? How is everybody doing? What's with that weird fucking in the background? It's fine. It'll be cut and post. Well, at least something's working. At least something's working. Let's get these videos underway. How is the sound going? How's the sound going? I think the sound is fine. I could probably edit that in post as well. Let's crank it down just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Oh, excuse me. Alright. It's deck tech time. Sup gamers, you like to play Magic? I bet you do. I'm back with Magic content, baby. Like and subscribe. Now that that's done and over with, we're talking about Surveil Reanimator with this deck that I made called Wait, He's Not Dead? With Mirko, Obsessive Theorist. It's a new card, if my computer will decide to load. I'm a professional. So, it's one of the new commanders from Murder at Karlov Mansion. For 3 mana, it's a 1/3 with Flying Vigilance. Whenever you surveil, put a 1/1 counter on this. And at the beginning of your end step, you may return target creature card with power less than his from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Which means if it would die, you exile it instead. So, obviously, that's not a good thing. We don't like when our stuff gets exiled because we're a Reanimator deck. So, I've added a bunch of cards in this basically to counteract that with things like Power Conduit, which you can tap it to remove a counter from permanent you control to either put a charge counter on target artifact, which we won't really care about, or put a 1/1 counter on target creature, which is insane when you pair it with Mirko, because you can just keep getting bigger and bigger things. But what if you happen to, get this out early and you have a bunch of stuff in the graveyard, but Mirko's only a 1/3. So why don't you put in a bunch of clone effects like Body Double, Clever Impersonator, not Cruel, what is Auton Soldier. I mean, you got Vizier of Many Faces, Spark Double, Phyrexian Metamorph. You have so many different things that you can hit on zero. Heck, there's a Hexavus. That's a card name. It is a 6-mana, it's a 6-mana 0/0 with flying, enters with 6 1/1 counters on it. You either pay 1 to remove a 1/1 counter from it to put a flying counter on another target creature, or pay 1 to remove a counter from another creature control, like the finality counters, and put a 1/1 counter on this. Meaning you can get a lot more stuff to be just these big, beefy boys that now have flying, that stay on the battlefield, and whenever they die, they go back to the graveyard, which you can reanimate more with Mirko. This deck is absolutely nutty because of the fact that there are 2 different types of card advantage in the game. There's downright card advantage with drawing a bunch of cards on that, or stacking your deck with things like Surveil and Scry. Surveil, in this case, you can either look at the top of your library and put it back on top, or put it in your graveyard. So why not put a bunch of stuff in your graveyard that you want and then just reanimate it and keep the spells that you want back on top? Though there are going to be a few problems, like what if you get something, a card in your hand that you really don't want to be in there? Like, let's say you get, I don't know, an Astral Dragon. That's an 8-drop, an Agent of Treachery, which is a 7-drop. You probably want to discard those. So why don't you either just don't play the cards in your hand, which can be a little or you can use cards like Frantic Search. Draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. That's pretty good, and it's basically a free spell once you get to 3 mana. But we have basically all the Reanimator package you could ever want. We have Victimize, Unearth, Rise of the Dark Realm, Reanimate, Persist, Dread Return, Breach the Multiverse. I mean, There's so many different cards in here that can reanimate, even though Mirko reanimates by itself. But you do need a little pick me up every once in a while, whatever. But just to kind of it's like removal, but kind of not at the same time, because obviously every deck needs removal. So obviously you have things like Bitter Triumph, which helps discard a card while destroying a creature or planeswalker. You can pay the 3 life, but you're probably just going to discard one of your big body boys that are in your hand. But Unexplained Disappearance, which returns a creature to its owner's hand and you surveil one as an instant. Unauthorized Exit returns a non-land permanent to its owner's hand and you surveil one. You'd think, oh, those kind of suck in most cases. But if you think about it, everybody's trying to mana cheat all the time. Like Mirko is mana cheating insanely. So how about you instead force people to actually play their cards how they're supposed to and just absolutely disrupt everything, because everybody wants to mana cheat. So why don't you just do that at instant speed? So obviously we got things like Entomb and Buried Alive, which is immediately throw creatures in your graveyard so that you just keep pumping out those Mirko triggers every single turn. Or one of my favorite cards that I didn't know existed, because it was Murders of Karlov Manor, but I didn't see this at all, and I don't think enough people are probably going to be talking about this, but it's a 7 mana 3/8, meaning you only need to put 3 1/1 counters on Mirko or surveil 3 times. But it's a flying lifelink. You may play lands and cast spells from among cards in your graveyard you've surveilled this turn. If you cast a spell this way, you may pay life rather than its mana value, rather than paying its mana cost, which is absolutely insane value. I mean, you don't really care about the life. I mean, heck, that's a 7-drop. What if you want to play a Massacre Worm? Just pay 6 mana for a 6/5, and, creatures your opponents control -2/-2 until end of turn, and whenever creature an opponent control dies, the player loses 2 life. That's insane. Obviously, there aren't a lot of, huge beaters in this deck, just because it's really hard to have a lot of beaters in the deck, because you want a big body, but you can't be too big, because Mirko, at the same time, can be your big body when you put enough 1/1 counters on it, but that's just kind of, it's iffy and it's weird, because it wants to be a beater, but at the same time, you don't want the creatures to be too big to where you can't reanimate it. Obviously, you could do the whole Entomb reanimate combo, whatever, but why don't we instead just put something like Eye of Duskmantle on the field, or a Massacre Worm, a Sir Conrad the Grim. I mean, there are just so many better hits, and a lot of people are going to want to be playing their big beaters anyway, so I think against a green deck, this deck is probably going to shine a lot better, especially against things like dinosaurs and things, because of the amount of just copy creatures that you have, because you can just slam one of those down, literally whenever Mirko comes out. If you play, I don't know, turn 3, let's say somebody has an insane, 8/8 on the field on turn 3. You play Mirko turn 3, and then you get a clone that can immediately copy that. Now you have one, and you've paid 3 mana. They've had to go through all these different steps to get it, but there are a lot of cool, really fun cards in this deck, such as load Watcher of Hours. So Watcher of Hours has this funny little thing called Suspend. For 2 mana, you can throw it in exile with 6 time counters on it, but this has whenever you remove a time counter from this while it's exiled, surveil 1. So you can just keep getting surveil triggers over and over and over again with Mirko, making it bigger and bigger. You can reanimate more stuff until finally, boom, 6 turns after this, you get a 6/6 flying ward 3. And it just helps with card advantage in general. I mean, Sir Conrad is one of the best creatures in the... Hello? There it is. Sir Conrad the Grim. It's a 5 mana 5/4 that whenever a creature dies, or a creature is put in the graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, or a creature leaves your graveyard, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Pairs brilliantly with Mirko because of the fact that you want to be putting creatures in your graveyard, you want to be taking them out of the graveyard, and even if they die, so you'll just get more triggers on this. So it just keeps dealing more and more damage to your opponents, slowly whittling them away. It's absolutely amazing. Stuff like Sinister Starfish can actually be really good because Mirko comes out. This is a 0/3. You can immediately start tapping it every turn to surveil 1. and it just keeps growing and growing and growing, and it's an actual decent blocker as well. A 0-3, you could block a lot of the like tokens here and there, but Rona, Herald of Evasion, is also kind of a sleeper card in this that you think, oh, this can't be that good. But the fact that you can draw, discard a card every single turn on this is absolutely insane. It's just, I think that this deck is absolutely brilliant in how it's designed, how it plays out. It basically, it does the things that you want to do with a Reanimator deck and have the blue side of card advantage, altering the top of your library. It's just this beautiful amalgamation of just weird but funny. So, with an average mana value of 3.32, this is the color distribution. Obviously, it's a little more leaned on black because Reanimator kind of needs it. It's amazing. I mean, heck, Thrall Parasite. When's the last time you've ever seen this card? I mean, it has Extort. It's a 1/1, but you can tap and pay 2 life and remove a counter from target non-land permanent. I mean, you can literally every turn get back a creature and then tap to remove the finality counter off of it, and suddenly you now have it forever until, like, even if it dies, it just goes back to the graveyard. Another decent beater is Thoughtbound Phantasm. It's a 1-mana 2/2 with Defender. Whenever you surveil, put a 1/1 counter on this, like Mirko. But as long as it has 3 or more 1/1 counters on it, it can attack as though it didn't have Defender. So it's just kind of probably a decent blocker most of the time, but then whenever it becomes, a 5/5 or more, you could start beating face in with it. I just think this deck is absolutely amazing. I mean, Soul Diviner even allows you to remove those finality counters to draw cards. There's just so many different ways to surveil, to get cards back from your graveyard. There's so much mana cheating, but looking at the top of your library, it's amazing. And I know I said a while ago that Sword of Once and Future is probably the worst sword out there, but it happens to fit literally perfectly in this deck. I mean, equip creature get +2/+2 and protection for blue and black. That doesn't really matter a whole lot, but when a quick creature deals combat damage to a player, Surveil 2 gets another trigger on Mirko and the Thoughtbound Phantasm, and you may cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. That spell would be put in your graveyard, exile it instead. You can get things like the bounce spells. You can get Otherworldly Gaze to surveil even more. I mean, Considers, the Curate, all those things to just keep racking up more surveil triggers. You got Unearth, you have Reanimate and Persist that can get a lot more of those, little one-off bang bangs from it. Or if you hit a mission briefing, which is really, really funny because you get basically free another surveil trigger, and you can cast an instant sorcery from your graveyard, and it does the exact same thing. So you can immediately swing with this, get 2 surveil triggers, and then can cast something else. Like, let's say you want to hit another Rise of the Dark Realms for some reason. I mean, Rise of the Dark Realms is just an amazing card in general. But if you want this deck list, please let me know. I don't mind giving it to you guys because this is the reason why I make deck decks. I want to give them to you guys, see how you guys want to build them or alter them in any way, and please let me know if you do alter them in any sort of way. But just like that, I think I'm going to leave you guys to it. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next deck tag. I don't know why my computer's being really, really slow today. Like, it's being obsessively slow.
I don't have porn on my computer, guys, I swear. I'm just trying to show off my decks.
Now time to make it public. Now we're moving on to one of my favorite archetypes ever. Oh, when I saw this card, dude. Oh my gosh, it was insane. Well, hi chat, whoever's in here. Just say hi if you want to. I like making decks. Decks are fun. Magic is fun. But no, Gingerbread Man might genuinely be one of my favorite decks now because golems aren't exactly the greatest in Commander, but the fact that this one is literally just everything that golems want to entail. I mean, it's in Bant colors. Bant just has a nice little place in my heart because green and blue are my favorite colors, and then white is probably my next favorite. It honestly goes green is my favorite color, then it's between blue, black, and then white, then red. It's not that I don't like red, it's just red just doesn't have necessarily the tools I want, and that's saying something because my favorite deck is Rakdos, Lord of Riots. It's, red black slow burn combo, but no, this deck, magnifique. It's literally just everything has a purpose. Everything has a purpose. I mean, oh my god. Ooh, you even got a bomb in it with Cyberdrive Awakener. It's a bomb. You turn all your foods into 4/4s with flying. That's insane. And they get the buff with Brennard. +2/+2 and trample. So they're 6/6 flying tramplers. That's a golem, right? Yeah. It's basically its own golem that gives +2/+2 to all other artifacts. It gets +2/+2 off of that, which makes it a 4/4, and every turn it makes an artifact, which eventually turns into like 3/3s, and this and that, and this and that. Did I put... I did put Maskwood Nexus in it. Yes. Which is insane. It turns the splicers into golems, which is really fun. Dude, Hour of Reckoning in this. Oh, best finisher ever. Because you can literally just 3 mana destroy everything, and all your stuff are gonna be fucking tokens anyway because of Brennard. We should probably get to the deck. Guys, I want to tell you about my favorite type of deck ever since I was way young. First kind of got into Magic. It's Golem time, boys. And Golems don't exactly have the best position in Commander, but in a casual game, this deck will shred through players with the deck I have aptly named the Gingerbread Man. But if you guys like the video, please make sure to like and subscribe. It means a whole lot to me. We're getting close to 1,000 subscribers. That would be absolutely amazing to me. But none of that. We're just talking about Brennard, Ginger Sculptor. Brennard is insane. Other creatures you control that's a food or a golem gets +2/+2 and has trample. It's a 3/3. And whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you may exile it. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's a 1/1 food golem creature in addition to its other types, and it has pay 2 life, tap, sacrifice this artifact, you gain 3 life. You're almost never going to be doing that. Very niche cases if you need a little bit more life, but making all your stuff be 1/1 food golem creatures, like, you almost always want to exile them, because I believe I put in no reanimate stuff. Yeah, I put in 0 reanimate anything in this, just because you almost want them to be these 1/1 food golem artifacts, because like it says, they get +2/+2 and trample. So we're just gonna be playing all the splicers, which, if you don't know what a splicer is, let's say Darksteel Splicer. It's one of the newest ones. It's a 7 mana 1/1. Whenever this or another non-token Phyrexian enters the battlefield under your control, create X 3/3 colorless Phyrexian Golem artifact creature tokens, where X is the number of opponents you have. Golems you control have indestructible. So all splicers create a 3/3 golem and give your golems something else. So they'll just keep compounding on each other. But let's say you sacrifice this to make it into a golem. That also means that this now has indestructible, which is insane. All of the splicers do this. Blade Splicer gives first strike. I mean, there's Wing Splicer that gives flying. The Sensor Splicer gives vigilance. Where are the other ones? Maul Splicer gives trample as a just in case. Obviously, Brennard gives trample, but it's good to just have it around. Master Splicer gives +1/+1. An additional one, which is pretty nice. But yeah, the Splicers are just, they're far and in between, but they're really, really good when you get them out, especially because Bant is just absolutely broken. Obviously, you have some ramp with 3 visits, Nature's Lore and Farseek. Just get a little bit of ramp because it is a little top heavy with it being at 3.4 average mana, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day because the amount of value you're getting. I mean, Swords of the Plowshare, was it Dispatch? Is just like, basic removal, this and that, throwing in some, thought casts and stuff for a little bit of draw. But I mean, Rise and Shine might be one of the best just bombs of the whole deck for being able to overload, because we are creating foods as well in this just for this little combo. There are a few cards that create foods here and there. We do have Academy Manufacturer that creates treasures, clues, and food whenever you create any one of them, but it makes all of those non-artifact creatures they're 4/4s. And because most of them are going to be foods, well then, they get the +2/+2 and trample from Brenner. It's absolutely insane. For 6 mana, this deck is beautiful. Sundering Growth, also destroying an artifact or enchantment, then populating, giving you another golem. Ephemerate, being able to flicker one of your splicers to get even more value, to be able to rebound back out to it. Druid's Deliverance, being able to stop your opponents from killing you one turn and populating, be able to do a nice little swing back. Akroma's Will, being another bomb, being able to give all your golems, Blind, Vigilance, Double Strike, Lifelink, Indestructible, Protection from all colors. I mean, you just hit face, and it's funny. But we need all the golems we can possibly get. So that we're going to be getting all the doublers in it. I mean, Virtue of Knowledge, Primal Vigor, Parallel Lives, where is it? I mean, Growing Ranks just populates every single turn, which is always good. Doubling Season, Anointed Procession, Panharmonicon. They're just really good cards to double all of those triggers. I mean, look at how many we have. You're almost guaranteed to be getting one of those every turn. If you get out one of those in Darksteel Splicer, if you still have all 3 of your opponents, you're creating 6 3/3s with Indestructible every time you play a Phyrexian, which is insane. Or just win the game with Mechanized Production, because you can enchant it onto one of your golems, and every single upkeep, all of your upkeeps, you create a copy of the artifact. Then if you control 8 or more of those artifacts with the same name, you win the game, which is really easy to do whenever you're doubling every single golem that you get out on the field. But yeah, with all the talismans, obviously the Soul Ring and the Arcane Signet, you're just going to be ramping up into these big, heavy beard boys. But why not just throw in a Maskwood Nexus in there? Because if you think about it, why not make your splicers also golems, which give the +2/+2 and trample? It also helps, giving it the indestructible or this and that. You can also just create a 2/2 basically golem every turn with the 3 ability. That's really, really good. Unwinding Clock, also being able to act as like a semi-vigilance with this, untapping all artifacts you control during each other player's untap step. Also helps with, just in case if you're about to really lose the game, you can sacrifice some of your foods here and there to get a little bit more life. But we're Phyrexian Altar and Ashnod's Altar. You'd think, oh, that's a really dumb idea. You're not going to want to sacrifice your splicers. But with Brennard's ability, be able to return your splicers back onto the field as 1/1 food golems, it just turns into insane value. You can use a lot of your splicers to get even bigger ones that then come back as just even beefier boys. But you can also use them with Jaheira, whatever, Friend of the Forest. Tokens you control have tap, add 1 green, which is insane also because if you're creating some food, creating, clues, treasures, whatever, you can turn them into mana rocks instead. Or I wanted to add Cryptolith Rite in this so bad. It was one of my favorite cards that I used to put in this deck because you can use your splicers to tap for stuff. It was just it just barely didn't make the cut in this, which kind of sucks. There are just a few cards in here that make food, which you can help with that. But I mean, Samwise Gamgee, Sam Loyal Attendant, they're just little extra things that you'd think don't do anything until finally they come swinging at your face. Knight of the Sweet's Revenge. Create a food, and foods you control have tap out of green. I mean, hey, that seems pretty good. Also, Iktekik, Salvage Splicer. That also helps. It's yet another Artificer, Splicer, Golem thing. So it creates a 3/3. Artifacts put in the graveyard from the battlefield. Put a 1/1 counter on this, and a 1/1 counter on each Golem you control. Insane value. I mean, this deck is literally just made to be absolutely insane. You have bombs like Moonshaker Cavalry, which gives your creatures flying and +X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control, which is going to be quite a bit. Not as much as a lot of like big, heavy token decks, but you're making big bodies. You're not just making little small bodies. You're making the big ones. But then Ojertok, Deepest Foundation, triples the token creation. There's also, what is it? There's another one that doubles tokens. Where is it? Yeah, Mondrak also doubles tokens. You're creating the Golem Factory. Absolutely just insane value. Just amazing combos. Heck, with Eternal Scourge, you can literally pay 3 mana, creates a 3/3. You may cast it from exile. So, what do? With something like, I don't know, Ashnod's Altar, you can sacrifice this, exile it to make it become a 1/1 food golem, which is a 3/3 with trample, whatever. Then with those 2 mana and another mana, if you happen to have like elsewhere, you could just keep sacrificing it over and over and over again, just making a whole army of 3/3s. Just absolutely insane combo. It's literally just a 3-card combo that you're going to be doing it anyway, so why not just make a huge, humongous army? This is the color distribution of the deck, though, and if you have any ideas of what more I should like add, get rid of in the deck, just let me know. I mean, heck, I put a Selfless Spirit in this too, just in case. Give creatures you control indestructible until end of turn, as a just in case, because then you can then get it back out as a 1/1, be able to do it again. So you have some, removal, kind of anti-removal deal. But if you have any idea of what more I should add in this, or if you want the deck list and update it yourself, or let me know what you would throw in it, any of that, just please let me know by liking and subscribing and commenting down below. But if you guys like the deck, please let me know. And thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next deck tech. I want to play this against people so bad. I really do. This might join some of my top favorite decks, because this is the casual big golem boys. Ugh, this one. Oh Lord, oh Lord. Oh Lord, oh Lord. This deck was supposed to be like the best deck I've ever made, and then I figured out that I didn't read the card. And I'm not going to say read the card, reading the card explains the card. I'm going to say actually reading the card explains the card. It's almost funny. It's almost funny. Don't I have something coming in Amazon today? I feel like I do. Oh, they did arrive. Where did I have them arrive to? That is a question. I hope to my house. I'm hoping to my house. Oh look, it's my baby. It's my darling. Give me one sec, y'all. I have packages. It's like an unboxing video, but I know what they are. I think this is the smallest one. Come on. Open the package.
Yes. Yes.
My mini dice set. I want to see how small the dice are. What's that for? I don't know. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, they're so tiny! Look at them! The dice are so tiny. I rolled a 10. An 18. Oh my lord. I bought these really mini dice on Amazon. Like they're so small. Like they are millimeters big. And they come in like this little container that you can put on your keychain. I think that's pretty neat. So if I ever want to play D&D with somebody, if I ever want to play D&D with anybody, then I can, just pull it out. Right then and there. Just be like, hey, you said you wanted to play D&D. I can play D&D right now. And then this should be a poster. Yes. It's a wall scroll. Because I'm going to start putting these up. Make a whole wall of them. Make a whole wall of wall scrolls. Yes. I will put this up momentarily. My fingies. Just like that. I've done it. The first of my team. She's adorable. And I feel like it's slightly off center. There we go. It doesn't matter. I am making decks. Not making decks. I'm explaining decks. Good morning, y'all. Y'all know the whole saying of reading the card explains the card? Well, this deck proves that reading the card closely explains the card. So, with Agatha of the Vile Cauldron, I thought it read activated abilities for creatures you control cost X less to cast, where X is this thing's power, and didn't read this effect can't reduce the mana and the cost to less than 1 mana. So, you're going to have to be paying mana, which is where the ramp comes in, to be absolutely bombing your opponents. But if you guys actually like the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and comment down below saying, I don't know, your decks are cool. I don't know, say whatever you want. But none of that. What we care more about is ramping into Voltron combo, which is weird. You'd think like that doesn't make any sense. If you play Voltron, you get big creature. If you play combo, then you're, whacking people in the face and going bam, bam, and winning the game on the spot. Not in this. No, not in this. In this, you are ramping with 3 visits, Skyshark Claim, Rampant Growth, Nature's Lore, Kadama's Reach, Farseek, Cultivate, just all of the jazz. Entish Restoration, just, I mean, Wild Growth, Utopia Sprawl. Where's the rest of it? I feel like there's more. There's so much ramp in this because you're just gonna be ramping into people are gonna be like, oh no, you're gonna be like a big threat, which you do with Atali, Primal Conqueror, and Soul of a New Phyrexia. Heck, you have Walking Ballista. Whatever. Obviously, yeah, you can absolutely destroy with big things, but why not use them on just abilities that most people think would suck, like Ball's Invoker. Who would want to pay 8 mana to nuke the table for 4? That's a lot of mana to deal, 12 damage? That's nothing. Why not make it 1 mana, as long as Agatha is at 7 or more power, 1 mana to nuke the table for 4? That seems a lot better. So what? You have to do that. You have to spend 10 mana to destroy all 3 of your opponents. I'd much rather do that because that's insane. You have so many of them. Ball's Invoker, Flame Wave Invoker. Yeah, that's wild. Heck, Wild Heart Invoker is literally just you pay the 1 and it get +5/+5 and trample until end of turn. You can just do that on Agatha so many times, and then wham, commander damage right there, right in the face. Valakut Invoker, which I understand you have to then pay 1 to deal 3, and you have to keep doing that back and forth. You bolt the table over and over again, but that's really good for sniping creatures. A lot better for sniping creatures instead of sniping the board. I mean, your opponents. But Umbral Manta is also insane. Paying a mana to make your stuff cost 2 less? Yeah, that doesn't seem broken at all. I thought it basically meant Agatha's infinite power, bada bing, bada boom, you're good. But obviously you need the Ozolith. They keep the 1/1 counters on there because, you need it. Ozolith Shadow Spire just keeps adding more and more and more. Tarion Soul Cleaver is also just one of those, kind of a sleeper card in general. Agatha gains Vigilance, which is alright, but another artifact or creature is put in the graveyard from the battlefield, you put a 1 counter on the equipped creature. You can just rack up those insane mana cheatings really, really quickly. I mean, you're running stuff like Bone Splitter, because, 1 mana you put it out, 1 mana gets +2/+0, because Agatha cares about power. So, being able to, for 1 mana, just reduce all this stuff by 2, that's pretty good. Heck, we're running a Planeswalker in the deck, because why not? Domri, Anarch of Bolas. For 3 mana, it's a 3 loyalty. Creatures you control get +1/+0. That's pretty good. I mean, +1, you can add a red or green. Creature spells you cast this turn can't be countered. I mean, that's alright, but at the end of the day, you're just going to be using to dump into, I don't know, any of the invokers. Heck, there's the, where are you? Soulbright Flamekin, which is one of those, what is this card? But literally, as Agatha is on the field, you can literally pay 3 mana to get, I believe it's 8 mana? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, pay 3 mana to get 8 mana. Sure, let's go with that. So you can literally, if you play this, and then Agatha, and then turn 4, well, as long as you have an Invoker out, then turn 4, you nuke the table. Does that seem broken? Because I think so. Well, no, because you gotta buff Agatha and all this and that. Whatever, you're gonna be ramping anyway. But there's so many different cool little cards in here that just never see any play. I mean, all the Invokers never see any play whatsoever. I mean, Captivating Crew, you can gain control of all your opponent's creatures, swing at them with all their stuff. Burnished Heart, even. Most people would be like, oh, I play this card to ramp. But you have to pay 3, then on the next turn pay another 3 to just get 2 basic lands. That's boring. Why not play this and then pay 1 mana to get 2 basic lands? I mean, that's mana ramp right there, and you're netting an extra mana, which is insane. I mean, the Almighty Brushwag, which is my meme card of the day. Meme card. Because for a green, it gets +3/+3 until end of turn. Dump 10 of those in there. and that's a 31-31 with trample. I mean, it's funny, guys. Trust me. Laugh, please. But no, there's just, I mean, even the enchantments are just absolutely hilarious. Unnatural growth, just making your creatures huge, like Agatha being able to buff up even more. Tribute to the World Tree, just helping out a little bit, getting out Agatha, immediately putting 2/1/1 counters on it. Sylvan Anthem, just giving an extra little thing, you know. Roaring Earth, just, oh my gosh, you're going to be ramping so much, and if you have Roaring Earth out, Agatha basically becomes free mana cheating. Rancor as well, if Agatha ever dies, you can just keep giving it +2/+0. Raised by Giants is also one of those, like, nobody would ever play it this turn. Hi, Dad. This is my cat. Her name is Baby, and she's being this way. But 6 mana, it makes Agatha just a 10/10. Because why not? You literally play this, and every time you play Agatha, every single invoker you play basically just means pay a mana, nuke the table, which is insane. I mean, Hydra's Growth just keeps buffing Agatha every single turn. Hardened Scales puts even more 1/1 counters on them. Forced Adaptation every turn puts a 1/1 counter in. Court of Garenbrig puts 2 1/1 counters on up 2 1/1 counters among up to 2 target creatures. Then doubles them. I mean, it's like Hydra's Growth, but with 2 creatures. Branching Evolution doubles the 1/1 counters you get. Bard class also just has Agatha enter with an additional 1/1 counter on it, which is really great. Also, with the Bard class at level 2, also enabling you to just basically pay Agatha's extra cost every single time. Oh, it's awesome. I mean, literally, turn 2, play Bard class. Turn 3, do the level 2 ability, play Agatha for free. I mean, oh, absolutely amazing. It's one of those weird combo decks that you probably are only going to be playing in casual, but it won't matter, because casual's fun anyway. You're just going to be nuking the board, because why not? I mean, at a mana value of 2.46, look at how many 1, 2, and 3 drops we have. It's too many of them, I say. Color distribution, obviously a little more towards the green side, because you're going to be ramping a lot more, and some of your like other beaters and things. I mean, Oran Reef Invoker basically does the same as Wildheart Invoker, but for 2 less mana. Just, oh, absolutely insane value this deck can produce, literally by just playing the game, mana cheating, Voltroning up into the combo. But if you guys like the deck, please make sure to like and subscribe, and comment down below if you think that this deck could, I don't know, win you a Magic game. I don't know. Just let me know. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next deck tag. Baby, you need to stop messing with me as I'm... You need to stop messing with me as I'm making videos. But thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all later.